You've done it. You've woken up with a gap. Not a haze, not a blur. A clean, hard gap where several hours of your life should be. You were there. People saw you. You were talking, laughing, making decisions, and you remember none of it. Not a fragment. Most people assume alcohol erases memories, that it goes in, scrambles the recording, and leaves static where the night used to be. That's not what happens. The recording never started. You weren't storing the night as it happened. You were living it with no mechanism to keep it. That distinction matters more than it sounds. Memory doesn't work like a camera. You don't experience something and automatically have it. There's a second step, a conversion process. The hippocampus, the curved structure deep in your brain responsible for forming new memories, has to take what just happened and encode it, tag it, move it from the immediate present into something retrievable. Without that step, experience just passes through. It exists for a moment, then it's gone. Alcohol doesn't touch the playback. It attacks the recording process directly. At low doses, alcohol suppresses the hippocampus slightly. You're a little slower to encode. You miss some details. But the architecture holds. At higher doses, typically above 0.15% blood alcohol concentration, something shifts. The hippocampus doesn't slow down. It shuts off. Completely. The brain keeps functioning. Your body keeps moving. You keep making decisions and forming sentences and responding to the world. But the mechanism that converts experience into memory has gone dark. Nothing is being saved. This is a blackout. Not unconsciousness, not sleep. You were awake, you were present. The lights were on. Nobody was home to write any of it down. In 2011, researcher Aaron White at Duke University published the clearest breakdown of what's happening at the cellular level. Alcohol at blackout doses disrupts the activity of a receptor called NMDA. This receptor is critical for long-term potentiation, the process by which neurons strengthen their connections to each other, which is the physical mechanism of memory formation. Alcohol blocks it, the neurons fire. The experience happens. The connections don't strengthen, no traces left. There are two types of blackout. The first is fragmentary, sometimes called a brownout. Pieces are missing, islands of memory with gaps between them. You remember arriving. You remember one conversation. You don't remember leaving. The encoding was intermittent, switching on and off as blood alcohol fluctuated. The second type is en bloc, total, a clean wall. You can identify the exact moment it started because it's the last thing you remember. Everything after that is gone, not fuzzy, gone. And here's the part that most people find genuinely unsettling. During an en bloc blackout, you could have a full conversation about your life, make a complex decision, navigate a city, and appear to anyone watching like a completely functional person. No external sign that anything is missing. Your brain was processing. It just wasn't keeping. This is why blackouts are dangerous in a way that being simply drunk is not. A very drunk person is visibly impaired, their judgment is poor, but their brain is still recording. They will remember, however badly, that the decision was a bad one. A person in a blackout has no such feedback loop. They can't learn from what's happening because the part of the brain that would encode the lesson isn't there. They're operating on autopilot with no black box. The morning after doesn't feel like forgetting. It feels like the night didn't happen, because neurologically for the version of you that woke up that morning, it didn't. The person who lived those hours and the person who woke up are connected by a body and a hangover, but not by a single memory. The experience belonged to a version of you that no longer has access to it. Some people find this frightening, some find it interesting. Both are reasonable responses to the same fact. What makes it stranger is that other types of memory survive blackouts almost completely. Procedural memory, the kind that runs your body through practiced tasks, is largely unaffected. You can drive home during a blackout. Not safely, but the motor sequence is intact, the skill is there, only the episodic memory, the story of what's happening, is missing. Your brain kept doing the task, it just stopped writing the chapter. This is the same dissociation you see in patients with hippocampal damage. They can learn new skills, they can get better at a task across repeated sessions, they just have no memory of any of those sessions. The knowledge accumulates, the experience doesn't. Alcohol temporarily produces the same split. Skill survives, story doesn't. And here's the part that changes how you think about a blackout entirely. The memories are not hidden somewhere, locked behind a door that might open later. They don't exist. There is no door. The process that would have created them was interrupted before it began. You cannot recover a blackout memory with time or hypnosis or the right trigger. You cannot be reminded of something that was never encoded. The experience moved through your brain like water through a broken net. Everything that happened during those hours is gone in the most complete sense that anything can be gone. You were there, you experienced it, and then you didn't.